It worked. I was hanging on every second there saying, come on, little spinny thing. What kind of weird things lay around on your desk?
Oh, me? I actually have a little Kylo Ren that sits here. I've had it since the oral nuts were on.
Don't be afraid. I feel it too.
Oh, you replaced the battery, I see.
No, I didn't. I just didn't touch it since then. So I feel
got it.
Oh, and I have cuticle oil because, busy girl's got to do her nails at her desk once in a while. Yep.
I got a timer. I have my ladybug timer.
Oh, that's interesting. I have a tripod for those rare instances where you have to get on Instagram on your phone or something.
Yeah, I do too, except I kicked it about 4 feet away by mistake yesterday
when I got up.
Helpful. Do you have a knife?
Do you have a capo?
I don't have a capo. I have a knife. I could probably use it to bar my guitar.
Take you down with my capo.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Backpack Show, everybody, where we talk about improvising weapons from ordinary household items.
Chris Penn?
I know. We should have asked him. Hi, Michelle.
God. Michelle's here. Chloe's here. John's here. Wow, what a YouTube crowd today. So excitable.
Hi, John. This is fun. Look at all the love in the cards. Oh, look, they're talking about Chloe's article about Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, Coach Woodard said, I just would love to hear this in Chloe's Scottish accent the whole way through.
Oh, you should read it, Chloe. Little Mermaid next, or Tangled?
Our very own Fred Faulkner IV is holding down the fort over at LinkedIn. Always good to see you there, Fred. Thanks. Always good. I always realize when I go back and look at my LinkedIn afterwards, it looks like I don't comment back to anybody, like I'm some kind of jerk. You know what I mean? Because they don't know.
Does it look like that, or do you not comment back to anybody? Because you say it on the show.
Because I say it live on the show.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I see what you mean.
You got to do what we got to do.
I know.
Backpack Show.
Rani Mani from Adobe is on the show today.
That's so cool. Rani's so cool.
Amazing.
We haven't hung out in person, I think, in 10 or more years.
I love her.
I don't get over at her coast very often. There's too many smart people there.
She's the one person. Well, no, so I go to Las Vegas for 2 reasons. Rani is one of them because the Adobe Summit is always in Las Vegas. And the other is your parents live there. And so I get to see them both like in that one.
My biological father and his wife.
Could you stop it, please?
They live in Vegas.
Chris's parents.
Yeah.
In a very traditional sense. Whatever that sounds like. But no, so Rani is an amazingly positive person. She heads up I think it's employee advocacy, the head of employee advocacy. So it's like turning employees into influencers. She also worked with Mother Teresa for a year and she wanted to stay longer. So I want to talk about that. But her approach to life is very much like, thanks for your well-intentioned advice. I'm going to do what it was I wanted to do. So.
Right. Thank you very much. Moving on.
Not unlike you. If we're being honest.
Pretty accurate. Listen, if you're here for the first time, it's like Fight Club. You have to comment because we don't know that you're here. We just see you lurking like lurkers. So please say hello. That way we get to know where your beautiful heads are.
Chloe
Debbie's here.
She doesn't have a good Scottish accent. I don't know how that happens. Chloe, I don't know.
Debbie's here. Author Len Joy, who has a speaking gig a little bit later today.
Yay!
And this is spoiler alert. Len Joy becomes a sponsor today.
I have his book. Where's it at? There it is.
There it is, right in the middle.
Yeah.
Hey, Ben Dempsey, and hello, Jack Vincent. All right, we did enough romper room for this morning. Let's bring Rani on and see what's news going on with her.
Never enough romper room. Hi, Rani.
Hey, Rani.
Get off your phone, Rani.
We got you. We're live. She doesn't even know.
We want to talk to you. What's going on?
Uh-oh.
This is it. She's going to text me. Hold on.
She's going to say, I just lost everything. I can't
hear is it because of the AirPods? We're talking to you.
Carrie, Chris, I can't hear you.
How about now?
AirPods.
I can't hear you.
Oh, we're going to put this in the category of don't use AirPods. There we go. Yeah. Can you hear us now? AirPods? All right, I'm going to get it running.
Guys, I can't hear any.
All right, I'm going to fix her.
Hey, what do you think I say all the time? Hey, don't use them.
I know you say that. I know you
Marlon.
do.
Is this my friend Marlon? Oh my gosh, that would be so cool. He's working on the Backpack Show website.
Nice.
If it's my Marlon. Justice tears off his shirt. What? Look at that. Justice Mitchell with a great entry. Hey, Leslie. And hey, Kara. Well, listen. So both of you are pooping on your accent. But the thing is, the difference between a Janie or an Ashley accent is that they have to come with subtitles underneath them.
Stop it.
They do. And with the two of you, I actually can pick out every third or fourth.
So Janie and Ashley know their audience. And so if they're talking to dumb Americans like us, they, they speak in a way that we can understand. It's not the accent. It's that, when they're addressing other Scottish people, they can use terms that maybe you and I don't get. I feel like it's just being respectful of your audience, and they don't need subtitles. You just need to know Scottish things.
I dinna ken. That's all I could tell you about that. Now, listen, you get Ronnie working.
Okay.
And I'll tap dance for the crowd. I don't know.
Okay.
I'll do more knife tricks. There you go. That was my knife tricks. So Kerry's working on that. Listen, while I got you here, I'm going to do something. We're going to talk about two different things. We're going to do a little differently. So there's only one guest today. We have, if it works, we have Rani Mani, and she wanted to use AirPods, and I hate AirPods because we have about a 98% failure rate on AirPods. This continues that trend. But when we get her on, it'll be delicious and everybody will love her. But in the interim, I want to tell you about two different things. One is what we're going to start doing. Oh, look at that. He's working on the site while watching the show. So Marlon, by the way, Marlon is working on the Backpack Show site. So we'll have a nice site with every episode laid out. You can come find it really easy. You can get more information. You can leave comments, whatever you want to do. And the other thing I'll point out about that is that the experience with this new site will mean that we can do even more to connect with each other. Mish says that Outlander is teaching me everything I need to know about Scottish accents. So the show's not bad, but if you haven't read the books, get on in on those books, because those books are good and useful.
Will you stop it? You didn't even read them. I know you didn't.
I read the parts I wanted to read.
Yes, you read those parts.
So are we
shared on the internet? Ronnie's joining from her phone, so we're going to give
killing
that a
the
whirl.
laptop one then?
We can, but let's wait until Ronnie's in.
Well,
don't touch things, Ronnie. We'll do it.
We'll do it. All right. You hear us now?
Do you hear? Yeah, totally. So sorry, guys. What just happened?
No, this is the thing. So we tell everybody like, hey, AirPods don't work. And then they're like, yeah, they do. And we're like, no, they don't. And then this happened. But so delighted that you're here.
Thank you for having me, guys.
No, are you kidding? I'm so excited. So I love this bit about Outlander. Did you read the Outlander books or watch the show, Ronnie?
Do not.
It's time travel romance set in Scotland. You simply must. So Kara says she lives near lots of locations where Outlander is filmed. When I was in Scotland for a CMA live event, Chris Marr's event, I went on an Outlander tour where they showed you like where they filmed different parts of the show. So I got to see parts of the prison sequence. I got to see like where Jamie got flogged, and not spoiler alert, he gets flogged, and the outside of Lallybrook and stuff. So I was very excited. Recommend it. 10 out of 10 would do again.
I did not go on that tour. I drank a lot of Scottish beer and ate the things.
I'm a tourist, so I do that. Ronnie knows that. Like I can't go someplace and not go look at all the dumb tourist things. It's one of those things I have to do. Debbie says she's more into the farm life.
I just want
to. So Ronnie, let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's talk. How old were you when you worked with Mother Teresa?
18 going on 19.
And what did you think you were going to be doing? Like what made you want to go, and what did you think you'd be doing?
I was a psychology undergraduate and wanting to go into business for my master's degree. I thought I was going to go do marketing and PR and fundraising.
And what did you end up doing?
None of that. I ended up working with the people in the sick and dying home, right? The home for the sick and dying, and just helping them die, talking to them, hearing stories, learning like you would not believe. I mean, I learned more in that 1 year than any degree, any job, any other life experience possibly taught me. Like it was the most unreal thing ever.
You get off the plane, you get there, you meet Mother Teresa. What's the first thing she has you do?
Well, I didn't know that I was going to meet Mother Teresa. There's 10 of us going there as part of this partnership and service learning nonprofit experience. It was supposed to be for a month. We get off the plane, we get there, we think it's just a regular orientation. And there walks in Mother Teresa, right? Handing us little rags. And she looks like a little walnut, right? Super small and wrinkled and but a force to be reckoned with. I mean, she was just she walked in the room and just you could hear a pin drop. The presence and the excuse me, the force of nature that she is, right? And literally just handed us rags and said, she pointed, and there was like this line wrapped around the building of just people waiting to come into the home for the sick and dying. And she said, do you see all those people? And of course we nodded, right? And she's just like, your job here is to help them die with dignity. And here I was, doe-eyed and looking over like, what the heck is dignity, right? Like, what does that mean? And what do you mean these people are all about to die? Like, of course, I knew we were volunteering at the home for the sick and dying, but I was more concentrating on the sick and not necessarily comprehending the dying part, right? So it
But
was
you didn't turn around and run home or anything, though.
right. Like, no, because it was day one, right? Day one. But 3 days in, all 9 other people left, right? All 9 other volunteers were like, this is not what we signed up for, because you guys, at night, she had a little golf cart, right? A little golf cart that was super rickety and just, we're in Calcutta, right? And we would go on these golf carts in the middle of the night just to roam the streets and pick up people who needed help. And most times they were lepers, right? So I can't even put into words the sights and the smells and just everything that went with it. And 3 days in, people were like, this is not what we signed up for. This is so overwhelming. What did 18-year-olds do? Right? No, we're so immature and we're so young, right? And so
Yeah, not like now. Chris and I are super mature now.
Yeah. One of these years I'll be mature. Ronnie, you said you helped them die. And I think most people, when they hear that, they're thinking you hold their hand, you look at them. What does that mean? How do you help someone die? What did you learn about death from being around it so much in such a fast amount of time?
So how Mother taught us is that everybody has a story to tell. Everybody needs to be validated. And each of us are 1 or 2 decisions away from being in their shoes. So don't judge. Many of these folks, Carrie and Chris, were like government officials. They were hospital administrators. They were educators. So there was no like set profile for these folks who ultimately ended up penniless and familyless and contracting whatever ailment that they had, which then led to them being in the home for the sick and dying. So I would just say, I mean, what she just helped us do was just let them talk. Let them make sure that there's a reason that they existed. Let them tell you their stories. You're not to write a book about it. You're not to monetize it. You're just to give them time, right? And listen. Listen intently, listen passionately, ask questions. And then whatever it is, whatever they need to say, let them say. No judgment, no advice, no, just active, passionate, focused listening. And that was it. That was it.
You had come over from the States to do this?
From New Jersey, yeah.
From Jersey. I'm guessing because it's Calcutta, the primary language there was Hindi. Did you speak Hindi already? Were you there?
Not a syllable. Not a syllable.
So they're just talking and you're
Wow.
just nodding and smiling. That's where I'm going with that. That's the question.
Many of them spoke English, though. That's
okay.
Right? Because Hindi is the national language, but English is given the
Business
British
language,
colonization. Yeah.
Let them talk. The secret weapon of making people feel valuable and loved. Hi, Coach
Yeah.
Woodard. You
It's
know,
okay,
Coach Woodard
Coach.
never arrives late. He
We'll
arrives
start
just when
over.
he means to.
We'll start over. Hang on a minute. And Kevin's here too. Kevin asked a question. Kevin, by the way, is a legendary YouTuber, one of the most well-known viral guys from the old days and still super vital and important. Curious what types of questions are appropriate or not. Well, it sounded like you didn't ask a whole lot of questions, or
Just
did you?
listened.
Well, I asked a ton of questions around, why did you do that? Or how did that make you feel? Or what did you want to do next? And what makes your heart sing, right? What are your hopes and dreams? And, things like that, just to get to know them. I mean, ultimately, it was soul wrenching just because they all became such dear friends. And
Mm.
in terms of Chris, what you asked, what did I learn? That this is not it. This is not all. That there is so much more after this. There's got to be. There's got to be.
Kara says she used to volunteer with her pets as therapy dog in a care home where most of the residents had dementia and Alzheimer's. And the most important thing was just to be there and listen.
That's right.
But Rani, you stuck it out. Your whole group left and there was just you. And a lot of people didn't even think you should undertake to go. You have cerebral palsy and people want always to give you well-intentioned advice about what you should not bother trying to do. So not only did you go anyway, you
Yeah.
stayed for a year, well after everybody else had left. So I want to know more about that. Like what made you go? What made you stay?
Right. So what made me go is service is core to who I am. And I just know that I am happiest when I am in service of other people. And I also know the person who helps the most wins, right? So given my cerebral palsy, given my 18 surgeries, given that I was in a full body cast for more than 6 months, being rotated like a pig in a luau, right prior to me going to Calcutta, I needed to get out of my own skin. I needed to not wallow. I needed to go be a surface. And of course, could I have done it in New Jersey, in New York? Absolutely. But my roots are India, right? I was born and raised in New Jersey, but my family are from India. I knew about this partnership and service learning program. I was fascinated by Mother Teresa, knew then that she was on the path of sainthood, right? Really wanted that experience, not ever knowing that I would get to meet her. I just thought being in this, breathing the same air as her in some capacity would hopefully rub off on me. And so I went with that intent, right? And just to walk in the path that she walked in and just to experience that. But again, I thought I was going there for fundraising and PR and stuff. So I thought it was going to be a fun, kind of easy gig, right?
When they
Um,
hand you the rag and show you the people around the street and all your friends leave, why do you stay?
I stay because no one's going to open up the door if I come home, right? I was raised by two parents who absolutely told me and indoctrinated in me that you got to finish what you start. And so that was it.
You did more than finish what you started, though. You stayed well past when you could have returned.
Well, for sure, because I was convinced I was the next Mother Teresa, right? I was gonna stay and take on what she was doing, and I was gonna be his successor because it was addictive. I mean, I don't know any other way to say it. I was addicted to that adrenaline of helping. And so I was gonna stay, and she chased me out. She just said, "Stop being stupid, right? Go home and get educated. Get as many degrees as you can, make as much money as you can. Don't go down the path that I did because I'm tin cupping it." Obviously now, at that moment, people were falling all over themselves to help Mother Teresa, but in her early days, nobody would even open the door for her, right? Because she was this nun, a no-name nun trying to do good in the world. And so she just said, go home, get educated, rub shoulders with the brightest and richest people, and you can help and you can have a head and a heart. They're not mutually exclusive. They both belong to the same part of the body, same body. And you can do it both. You can have it all. And so
It's interesting because with CP, your body betrays you at every turn. Your body says, I think I'm not going to work so well for you today. I think I'm going to mess with your musculature, and I'm going to decide when you have to walk on sticks, when you are going to get into wheels, and then when it's going to be worse and worse and worse. And you went with your heart at a time where, you could be trying to squeeze out so many other little adventure paths. And you went to a place where you could put yourself to use. But Calcutta is not exactly conducive to people with physical disabilities whatsoever, let alone any other disabilities. It must have been Double
not
hard journey for you.
Oh my gosh. I was going to say, forget Calcutta. India as a subcontinent is not conducive to, people with physical challenges and the potholes and, everything. At every turn, you would think that the universe was conspiring against you. And no truer words have been spoken than with CP, your body betrays you. Because I tell you, if anybody asks me what's happening today, like what's your greatest angst or whatnot, it's when your brain knows what you want to do and your body simply won't cooperate, right? And it's infuriating and it's humbling and it's nothing compared to what these people were going through, right? Like that's the other thing that I got from that experience is never will I open my mouth to complain, right? Because here were people where their flesh was falling off. So if my knees hurt, if my ankles won't bear my weight because I had one too many cupcakes, right? Like I can get over it. I can get over it and push through. But these folks, I mean, they were literally dying. So perspective. So much perspective.
And Rani is exactly like this all the time. When she says, I would never complain, she never complains. Everyone loves you, Rani, because you're always like this. Everybody, you're kind and positive all the time. Bob Collins says hello from LinkedIn. Marlon says, you're amazing, Rani. Just wow. There's a very long comment. I don't know if it'll cover you or not, but I'm going to give it a whirl. Yeah, it did. Holding space for the dying is a gift seldom received. And Joey's in New Jersey also. So he says he can only imagine the empathy of your heart and soul to invite the stories of other people into your being. Thank you for sharing this. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you.
So then I want to go to the other side of the spectrum because we know you now as a superstar over at Adobe. So somewhere between doing the work of God, you get back into the rat race at some point.
Well, Mother Teresa said, go get that paper.
She did.
Yeah.
She did. I'm not saying she wasn't on a mission or nothing, but I am saying, holy cannolis here. What a change that must be. And how many times are you in some meeting, even this many years later, thinking, what the heck? Like, how does that work inside you?
It helps you become unflappable, right? Like there is literally all I say to myself when I see people being insane or being rude or just being downright mean, which isn't often, right? I'm being highly dramatic and everything else. But in those moments when that happens, I'm often the voice in the room saying, you know what? No one is dying on our table. Each of us puts on our pants one leg at a time. Let's just breathe and let's move on, right? Let's take a breath. Thank God we can take a breath and let's just move on. And so, again, perspective, a little bit of humor. And honestly, the work I do, and Kerry knows, right? The work I do with influencers, the work I do with employees, it's a lot of the same skills I get to use, which is marvelous. Asking open-ended questions, asking what makes your favorite thing.
How do you choose the right influencers, though, Rani? Like your attitude and your outlook and your approach to life really naturally attract a certain type of person to you, like in person. But when you're researching influencers online, like how do you figure out which people might be the right fit to work with?
Well, often, I mean, initially just on paper, I'll look for who are the people talking about the topics that matter to Adobe, right? Given that we're talking about Adobe, what are the topics and what are the what's the messaging, what's the tone, what's kind of the brand of the person? So that's what I'm betting on paper. And then when I physically meet them, not over the phone, let's say we're talking, then kind of my filter is this someone I would actually invite into my home? Would I expose my 4 children to them? Right? And if the answer is yes, everything else is table stakes. I'm assuming I'm verifying that you have a solid social footprint, that you know what you're talking about, right? That you are influential in that you're swaying people's decisions, that kind of stuff. So that's all table stakes. And then from there, just are you a good human being? Are you someone I would want to hang out with? Are you someone that I would actually bring home to my children?
Can't believe I made that cut. A lot of people Carol says being unflappable is a huge business skill, especially now. Boy, talk about that. And then Debbie Saviano, she's going to cover you too with her comment, Ronnie, just for a tiny second. But so fortunate to have had the opportunity to visit India and saw some of the places that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And she says she could never have done what you did. Do you think people could, and maybe they just haven't had to? Like you mentioned, your parents were like, don't come back until this trip is done. You know, that's the way your approach to life is to finish what you start. Could anybody do it? Or do you think there's something inside you?
No. I promise you, if a silly, immature, like literally ditzy 18-year-old could go and be 100% transformed, anybody could do it. But you gotta love people. You gotta love life, right? You gotta look beyond the dust and the fog and the smog, and like you gotta look beyond all that. And the other thing Mother Teresa said is there is divinity in every. In the middle of the
Oh,
night,
you're cutting out. Now your phone won't even work, Ronnie.
Well, unless it's AirPods Part 2.
No.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I think your phone's cutting out. We have to do some sponsor stuff.
Yeah, stick around. We'll do some sponsory stuff, and we will get you back in here in a second. Hang tight. Woo! Look at how many people have really no words right now.
Yes, it's powerful, isn't it? So what everybody here would probably not ever fully appreciate without meeting Rani is that I've seen her work her way through a crowd of like 20,000 people who are, somewhat buzzed, all very crowded together, focused on something totally else. And she works her way through the crowd and acknowledges, really everybody. And everybody is left feeling better for having seen her. It's kind of magical.
It's pretty nuts.
So if I told you, hey, we're going to talk to the head of employee advocacy at Adobe, would you ever expect the conversation to be like today's was?
No, of course not.
No.
Yep. It was, when you said, hey, let's interview Rani, of course I said yes, because she's just lovely and I didn't care. But I was also sort of like in the back of my mouth, like, this is going to be some stupid business conversation.
Oh, stop it.
So it was not. Listen, we have a new sponsor today, People of Earth, and he brought an awesome deal for backpackers. So one of our favorite authors, Len Joy, has as a really kind of nice gift to you. Len has his short stories book called Letting Go set up as 99 cents right now on Amazon. So you can go to cbrogan.me/letgo and for 99 cents pick this up. But because Len Joy is Len Joy, and because you maybe don't feel like reading the ebook, even though you pretend you do, you can get the audiobook and you can get that for free. Here's what you do. There's 3 steps to this. Buy the book at cbrogan.me/letgo for 99 cents, or just go over to Amazon. You know how to find it. Just look for Letting Go, stories by Len Joy. Number 2, email lenjoy7@gmail.com to get the free audiobook version as well. And number 3, you can get a whole book full of stories of real people in real life moments. And these stories cover everything from regret, loss, some of the sadder parts of life, to some of the other things that we're missing in our modern world. Kerry has one of Len's other books. Read through it. These are the stories that Len would write, the short stories that Len would write in between writing some of his bigger books. So definitely worth it.
I adore Len. I will start reading any book for which we're going to interview the author. I don't always finish them after. I have actually all of Fazia's authors, FSB Associates, one of our other sponsors, PubSite, powered by FSB Associates. Len is one of their authors, and I have never been disappointed by one of their authors. So
she picks good clients. I don't know what the heck that's about.
So Len's an award-winning sports fiction writer. And what interested me about him and why we had him on the show is he had a whole career before. He had a whole engine remanufacturing company of his own and ran it, and then retired from that and was like, I think I'm going to write some books. And you know what? They're damn good books.
Yeah, they are. And he's giving a speech today. We're also sponsored by StreamYard. You want to talk to Mother Teresa disciples? Get your own StreamYard, cbrogan.me/StreamYard, and make your own show. It's easy. Kerry brought it to me as the product we should use to make this show, and it's utterly worth it.
And you were like, grumble. I don't want to
use something new. I've got a software for this.
Then but
it's like it's like, imagine when you go to a sushi restaurant and you watch the sushi person who's been trained for 12 years make amazing sushi. Meanwhile, at home, you've got your rice cooker and you've got the little chopped up carrots and you're like, screw this. And then you buy a McDonald's burger.
You lost me at rice cooker. I was like, no.
Well, sushi's hard to make is what I'm trying to get at. And you can make your own super easy show like sushi StreamYard style would be like, you just go to the drive up window and it's there. See Brogan on me. I don't know what I'm saying. I could be drunk for all you know.
Go get StreamYard. You'll love it.
You'll love it. Pub site is for authors. Len and I had a conversation that I can't share with you, but I can tell you that if you had pub site, you could make changes in about a minute and a half. If I said, hey, Len, change your page to say this, he'd say, okay, click, click, click. It's done. Yes. I know because I watched John Burke, the guy who helped make StreamYard, do it in front of us.
Made pub site.
Pub site, not StreamYard. Sorry, I'm doing drugs. Pub-site.com. But you have to be warned. It's wicked expensive.
Stop it. It is not either. So there's a 14-day free trial. And after that, for you to make and have your own website for your book is $19.99 a month. And if you're like, I have no idea, I know it's super easy, but I just can't be bothered. They can make your author website for you for just $499, which is also obscenely inexpensive. So ridiculous. Check out PubSite, pub-site.com.
They're also sponsored person of the day.
Debbie's already bought Len's book.
Oh, yay. Cool. Very nice. Very nice.
Carol says she's going to look. She looks forward to reading it.
Good.
Coach Woodard's read 2 of Len's books and says he's a terrific storyteller. I agree. And Fazia says you'll love PubSite. I agree with that too.
I would love to say something different and just take the money anyway. But it's actually really good software. Let's grab Rani back. Let's
I asked Rani to refresh, so I'm hoping she's refreshed.
She looks refreshed.
Yeah.
Let's see how we do. Ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's try it out. Hi.
Can you hear us? No, she's okay. You're quiet, but
I can hear you really well. Can you hear me?
Okay, good. Yes.
Ish.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us something you've never told anybody else. It's just us. It's totally safe.
Oh my gosh. Well,
just testing audio.
Oh, you're testing audio. I'm like, why are you saying that?
Insane crush on Dennis Rodman. I've told people this, but I need to tell all of you guys that my love affair with Mother Teresa and my insatiable crush on Dennis Rodman. Those are mine.
You would get to travel again. You could go to the northern part of Korea. You'd be treated very well up there, evidently.
Oh, good grief. Michelle says I need a raise.
Yeah, you do. Just for keeping me on track today. Carol messaged me and said, hey, did you even say the other changes that were coming to the show? And I was like, no. We're going to bring both guests up front when we launch the show nowadays, and when we have 2 guests, and we're going to talk all about them right up front and then make sure we come back around. So that's what we're going to do. What a day. Rani, you have a shook. That's what they say. You have a shook, girl.
Well, I'm trying hard to think about anything I was doing at the age of 18 that is remotely significant.
Nothing. I was in 2 stupid metal bands that were both stupid. And just trying to play more guitar because maybe a girl would like me if I played guitar better.
I graduated high school a year early and went to college at 17. That's about it. So I was like,
Well, one thing I wanted to mention to you guys before we had our technical difficulty is, in the middle of the night when we were on these, what do you call them? The golf carts, right? Picking up people from the street. What Mother would tell us is, how do you know that's not Jesus? Or this isn't Jesus? Like, how do you know who these people are? All you're seeing is what you're seeing physically, right? That they're down and out, and in the cases of the lepers, where their skin is falling off. But how do you know who these people are? And so I wanted to make sure to say that out loud to you all, because that was just talk about perspective, talk about deep questions. Just, you're never the same, right, after a conversation or an experience like this. So I highly encourage anybody and everybody to go serve, whether it be in India or anywhere, just because these are amazing individuals, just divine experiences.
You're in California now, and there's no shortage of ways to be of service in California.
Yes, for sure.
So
it's a little different than New Jersey, I would imagine.
A lot different than Calcutta.
Yeah,
definitely different than Calcutta. How long have you been over in California, and what's that do for you and your lifestyle?
I've been here since 91. I got a full ride scholarship for college and then never left. Never left. And it's really conducive, Chris, for my arthritis and for my physical challenges. The weather is fantastic.
Cool.
And so, we pay through the roof in terms of real estate for wonderful weather, but and it's also just, the laid back, the pace is perfect for me as well. So from a lifestyle perspective, it's very chill, very kind of, and I'm generalizing, but a kind of a
Mhm.
surfer kind of mood, very different from the East Coast, which I love as well, but I could never handle the cold anymore. So
You
Ronnie,
have that in
what?
common with our friend Fauzia, who
Oh,
also
yes.
went from New Jersey to California.
Isn't that
She
funny?
messaged that really quick in the comments. She was, same path. So she's your neighbor now.
I wanted to. Oh, Joey said, as I said before, Ronnie had to refresh. Your experience feels like boot camp for maturity. Boy, I still haven't gone. I wanted to ask you, at every turn, you've got people giving you advice based on what they think would be best for you, based on the limitations they think that you have. How do you overcome that? I see people with far fewer, actual obstacles to doing the things they want to do who don't do it because somebody says, well, that's a bad idea. And they just let themselves be waylaid. How do you stop? How do you prevent that? How do you kind of dig deep and find your own voice and listen to it?
Again, I am very, very blessed to be born of some amazing parents who just who taught me how to be sassy and irreverent and rebellious. And honestly, those who know me well know that I do often completely the opposite of what people tell me to do. And so it's natural, right? Like when people tell me not to do something, that's the very thing I want to do. And
Oh,
so
really? That doesn't sound like anyone else I know. Crap.
Kermit is very much working on that.
So when they were like, oh my goodness, people should be helping you. What are you doing going to Calcutta? And what help can you possibly give somebody else? Of course, I was going to be the best volunteer that Mother Teresa and the Home for the Sick and Dying had ever seen, because now you've rubbed me the wrong way by telling me that I can't help, or that I'm going to be of no use or value, right? So I think it's just the irreverence and the rebelliousness in me. I'm kind of hardwired to be that way. So it's nothing really deep, Carrie. I'm not
Oh.
digging deep. It's just
Oh, whatever it is, Chris has it too.
At least the stubborn part, oh yeah,
Well,
you're not my real dad.
when I was growing up, my mom said, be a lawyer, be a lawyer, be a lawyer. And I always said, no. And then I did. So I don't know.
right.
I just mean, you've got grit and so much heart, Ronnie. I'm so glad you could come talk to us today.
I
Thank
want
you
to hear
so much.
just a little bit more about your aspirations. It doesn't seem like I'm trying to think at what age you say, okay, that's enough, I'm good. Because it doesn't feel like there's a number for that. So what's in front of you?
Raising these children, right? I've got 4 amazing children who are my, what do you call it? They're my heart. They're my heart with arms and legs, and getting them situated, helping them be amazing people in the world. They're already amazing. They fell out of heaven amazing, but supercharging their amazingness. And then I want to go travel the world, guys. One of my absolute bucket list items is to go see the 7 new wonders and the 7 old wonders of the world, right? So got lots of that to do. And lots more serving to do. So many things out there that we can do, and a lot more money to go make. A lot more money to go make so I can serve exponentially more. So
I was not informed that there were new wonders. What are those?
yeah,
Well,
well,
there's
I
the
mean,
ancient wonders, right?
Yeah,
And so some of them aren't there anymore.
Great
So they were like, we
Wall
need
of
new ones.
Babylon, pyramids
Yeah.
or something. What are the new ones? Like
well, like
Vegas?
Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon
Grand
is
Canyon.
considered like a new wonder, right? Like I've seen the Eiffel Tower, but that would fall in the new wonder list versus, the Great Wall of China or the Taj Mahal. So
Got it. Okay.
Machu
Been to
Picchu.
a couple of those.
Machu Picchu, yeah, that's probably ancient wonder, but lots of wonders to go see. Lots of people to go.
When it's safe again, right? None of us can go anywhere just now, but I'm going.
I caught a shiny Machu Picchu on Pokemon Go. It was like a level 135.
Stop it. Does anybody play that anymore? I feel like people
My
moved on
parents
to Harry
every day.
Potter. Oh,
Every
yes.
day.
Yes. And they are here.
All right. Ronnie, we have one last question for you. It is one of the most important questions. But before we do that, I'm going to tell you what the question is so you can think about it. Before we do that, we'll pick the person of the day. So the question is, and it's a sort of a metaphorical question, what goes in your backpack? So it could be something physical. It could be something metaphorical. It could be grit, determination, whatever. Or it could be an avocado. We have our favorites, don't we?
I have a feeling it might be candy, but
Could be candy.
That's
I'd like to hear
back.
that. So while you're thinking about that, person today sponsored by PubSite, pub-site.com. Authors, go get your site made. You'll feel so much better when you do.
yes.
I'm going to pick Joey. I think Joey is a good new find. I'm so excited for all the thoughts and comments you had. Joey Newton, you are now entitled to an apple just like that one. Just got to run to the store and pick one up and make it look kind of like that if you can. And that's yours.
Yeah, it
That
has
makes
to
you
look just
person
like
of the
that
day.
before you can eat it.
Or it doesn't even work. So.
You have to shine the top and shine a light on it so the shadow falls just so.
Yeah, and put it next to a blue background if you have something like that. Congratulations.
And
the
then you
person
may
of the
eat
day.
it.
So, Rani Mani, what goes in your backpack?
Kerry knows me all too well. Milk chocolate with nuts for sure.
Milk chocolate with nuts. That is a very specific kind of chocolate too.
That's right. That's right. I mean, you could say I'm a very fake chocolate eater, right? So not the dark chocolate that's good for your heart, but the milk chocolate.
Oh, the real stuff. Yeah.
The one that's good for your soul.
Ronnie is a superhero, Deb. She is.
Then let me tell you the other thing I would say is just a bunch of unreasonableness. Right? Is that a word? Unreasonableness?
For us it is.
Yes. Yes. I mean, when Kerry, you were asking how do you defy what other people are saying? Just be unreasonable, right? That's what I always tell people. Dare to be unreasonable. Just what does reason ever get you? But a boring life. Predictability
is a killer answer. Unreasonable. I think that's a killer answer. Oh my gosh, Rani Mani, thank you. So we know we can find you herding all of the Adobe influencers and making them do the right things and go in the right corners. We know that you're out there doing big things in the world. Thank you so much for coming and being part of the show today.
What would your grandmother think about Ronnie?
I was thinking about it. I think that they'd be a kindred spirit. My grandmother would definitely say, she'd probably use a swear word and she'd say something like,